Before we get started, to reduce and avoid injury, you should check with your doctor before beginning any fitness program. By performing any fitness exercises, you are performing them at your own risk. Sooke Region Communities Health Network and Sooke Region Seniors Centre Without Walls will not be held responsible or liable for any injury or harm you sustained as a result of participating in our online fitness or information shared on our Zoom account, website, or social media channels.
Hello, and welcome to Week 5 of the Sooke Region Communities Health Network's Falls Prevention Program. This week, we'll talk about health management and put all our exercises together into a short fitness program.
In the first class, we divided fall risk factors into the categories biological and intrinsic, behavioral, socioeconomic, and environmental. This week, we're looking more closely at the biological or intrinsic risk factors. For the most part, it's difficult to change these factors. They include things like age and gender, as well as visual disability, hearing challenges, and dietary restrictions. It can also include health concerns like diabetes, respiratory disease, Parkinson's, heart disease, and depression, to name just a few. We can minimize the impact of these conditions by maintaining regular health management. This includes regular visits to the doctor, optometrist, dentist, and other health providers. Taking 2 or more medications daily can increase your fall risk factor. Medication reviews at least once a year can help to ensure that you are keeping your medications effective and not contributing unnecessarily to your fall risk. To keep yourself healthy, it's good to maintain a healthy diet, to maintain strength and balance, adequate hydration. It's good to drink plenty of water and non-caffeinated, non-alcoholic beverages. Coffee doesn't count. It's really great to have good sleep habits to make sure that you're getting at least 8 hours every night. It's good to schedule in regular activity, regular physical activity, either going to classes or doing home exercises. You need to engage socially to maintain social connections, to join groups or clubs if that's your cup of tea. You need to engage mentally to learn something new, to keep your brain sparkling and fresh. Maintaining foot care is very important. Your feet get farther away and difficult to maintain. They are also your first point of contact to the floor and really helpful in maintaining balance. It's great to have the regular attention of a foot care specialist or a podiatrist. You need regular visits to the doctor. It's a good idea to discuss falls if you notice an increase in occurrence. Annual vision testing and an annual medication review. As we age, things change. You might remember this slide from before. And the notable points are that our organ function changes as we age and can affect the absorption of nutrition and medication. Sleep is very important as our body uses this as downtime to restore and recover. Try to maintain a consistent bedtime and avoid exercise just before bed. It's also a good idea to avoid heavy meals or excessive fluids before bed. Things you can do to help yourself keep from falling as you age are exercise, healthy diet, hydration, sleep, mental stimulation, social activities, take good care of your feet, an annual doctor visit, annual vision test, and an annual medication review.
Hi, and welcome to Week 5 exercise program. This week, we're going to put it all together. We're going to do all the exercises that we've been doing over the past 4 weeks. and put them all together into one whole program. We'll begin with some warm-ups, we'll do some seated exercises and some standing exercises with a balance component. As usual, make it work for you. So if you want to do all the exercises seated, that's fine. Maybe you just want to do part of the program. Maybe there's a few exercises you've learned already that aren't for you. Make it yours. Always remember that your breath tells you how you're doing. So if you find you're breathing really quickly or holding your breath, just take a little pause. Just let yourself settle down. Start again. Make sure that you have your cushion or block or whatever it is that you put between your knees nearby. We'll be using that a little bit later. It's also good to have a glass of water. And of course, your stable chair. So let's begin with our warm-up. And as always, we begin with the breath. So first of all, make sure you're seated right up on the edge of your seat. Your feet are parallel and firmly planted. And you're right up there on your sitting bones. Rest your hands in your lap. And let's take 3 deep breaths together. You're welcome to have your eyes opened or closed. It's up to you. Exhale to begin. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And then open your lips and exhale with a sigh. Go ahead and do that 2 more times. Full, deep inhalation, filling your lungs, filling yourself with breath. And then as you exhale, feel your sitting bones sinking into the support of the chair. And 1 more time. Full inhalation, breathing into the space around you. And exhaling, feeling your feet rooting into the ground. Nicely done. Let's move on to our pelvic rock. So with your hands on your knees, just roll onto the back edges of your sitting bones. So you're arching your back, you're curving your back backwards. And then give it a little tug with your hands and roll up onto the front edge of the sitting bones. You might want to look up a little bit as you go. And then just continuing to do that. So you could exhale as you curve this way, and then inhale as you roll to the front edges. Just if that works for you. Notice how your spine is feeling. Notice if you need to make this a little bit smaller for comfort, or if maybe there's some places that want a little bit of a deeper stretch. All right, let's come back to center and roll our shoulders. Nice. So see if you can get a full range of motion all the way forward, up, back, and down. Notice if maybe there's a place that your shoulders don't want to go. Sometimes the back is a little bit more sticky. Okay. And when you're ready, taking it in the other direction. Remember, you can always pause that video and spend a little more time here if that's what your body wants to do today. Well done. Okay, now opening and closing the hands. Yeah, so try and get them as big as you can. Some of us, it's hard to get them to spread wide. So see if you can open the hands all the way each time you open and close them all the way each time you close. This is one of those exercises that you can do a long time if you want. It makes your hands strong and more capable of catching you if you're starting to fall. All right. Now we're going to give one hand a little massage. So I'm just digging in with my thumb here, just finding the places that feel good, that feel like they need a little working out, maybe getting in between the bones a little, maybe digging into that thumb mound there. And sometimes there's arthritis that gathers in there. And then just grab your fingers, tug a little so that you're opening up the palm of the hand. And then gradually straighten that arm so that you bring the stretch into the wrist and then up into the elbow. Just notice how that feels. Where do you feel it more? More in your hand or maybe more in the forearm? Neither is right, just different. All right, and just give that a little A little shake. And let's do the other one. Start with a little massage. Be gentle in the painful places. But sometimes working a little bit into the painful places helps the pain to go away. You just don't want to make them hurt more. You want to move it in such a way that the tension dissipates and maybe the pain eases a little bit. You could even take a little time on the fingers. Sometimes our fingers get tense and tight. All right, and then you're going to loop fingers of one hand over the other hand. And first of all, just stretching the fingers and the palm of the hand. And then gradually opening that up. You could just stay with the palm if that's the place that feels juiciest to you. Does this hand and arm feel different than the other side? Good. Just give it a little rest. Now we're going to do a nice big side stretch. So you could put your hand on the edge of your chair and then just reach way over to one side. Your gaze could go down to the floor if that's the way your neck is most comfortable, or you could gaze straight ahead or even up to your hand. Really pulling, like someone's tugging on that arm. And then let's come up and over. Put that hand down on the other side and reach the other arm over top. Good. Really opening out the side ribs. Trying to create more space between the ribs on that side. More space for deeper breathing. Come up and over. And from here, we're going into a seated march just to get ourselves a little bit warmed up. So make sure you push down on one foot before lifting the other one. It's really helpful to feel grounded, to find the connection of our feet to the floor. Good. And if you want, you can add a little arm swing. If that's too much for you, if all your body wants to do is just do a little march, that's totally fine. Good. Well done. All right. We're going to go from here to our foot rock. Just give some attention to your feet. Just roll them to the outside edges, to the inside edges. You could roll them opposite directions or the same directions. Remember, this is a great thing to do just when you're getting out of bed in the morning. You could put your feet on the ground and just take a moment to warm them up, to get them connected to the floor, to help reduce your risk of falling. And now also, we're going to get the ankles moving. So just extend one leg and point and flex this foot, just as we did a couple weeks ago. Just getting some mobility in that ankle. Make sure you're pointing it and flexing it as much as you can. And then put that foot down. Let's extend the other leg and do the same thing. If you want to bring a little more work into the quadricep, you could lift it a little higher. If that's too much for you, just keep it on the low side. Nice. And now our ankle rotations. The same thing, extend the foot. I'm just drawing a circle with your toes. Pay extra attention to the places where your foot doesn't want to go. And then let's go in the other direction. Well done. And the same thing with the other foot. Nice easy circles. If it's too difficult, make them a little slower, maybe. Try and just do them really consciously. Really pay attention to where your foot is going. Notice the difference between the 2 feet. And then it's good to just give the quads a little shake out after that. Sometimes they get a little tense from holding that leg up in the air like that. Good. So here, this is the moment where we're going to grab our prop. Maybe you have a yoga block or a ball. Cushion works great though. We're just going to plant that between our thighs. And make sure that our feet are parallel. We often tend to toe out a little bit. What we're trying to do here is find the connection from the inner foot through the inner leg and into the core. So that we're really stable. Our core is connected to our legs and to our feet. Now just bring your palms together, interlace the fingers, press the hands forward. Nice, nice big open hand stretch. Maybe see if you want to stretch a little more towards the baby finger side of the hand or the thumb side. Check especially here that your elbows are straight. This is just for future reference for the next exercise. Make sure that they're not slightly bent. And then let's release that. Move one hip back a little bit. Bring the palms together in front of the heart, and then just turn in that direction. You're pressing your hands firmly together, sitting up nice and tall. If you'd like, you can loop one arm over the back of the chair and just rest the other palm on the outside of the knee. The twist goes from the belly, through the ribs, into the shoulders, and the head comes around last. As you twist, be sure that you're gently squeezing whatever that is you have between your knees and keeping the feet firmly planted. Now let's come around. Just bring that hip forward and the other one back. Bring your palms together again. And just turn and look over that shoulder. You can take your arm over the back of the chair and the hand to the outside of the thigh. And breathe deeply here. Our twisting mantra is usually inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to turn just a little. Nice. Come back to the center. And let's do this seated reach. So let's keep our prop here so that we're keeping our lower body stable as we move our upper body. So reaching across, and this is what we were preparing that elbow for. Check and make sure you're getting your elbow all the way extended each time. Now we're going to take this a little higher. If that doesn't feel right for you, just keep it at that lower level. And the last set we're bringing overhead. Same thing, you could do this lower if that suits you better. Yeah, you could just do all of them at that lower level. Well done. Okay. Now, just tipping forward and tipping back. We did this little core tilt a little while ago. We're adding rowing arms to that. So as you tip forward, reach your arms forward, and then imagine you're grabbing the oars and pulling back. Yeah, so reaching forward and then pulling back. You can keep a little squeeze on that prop between your thighs. We're getting our back muscles working here. We're also really engaging the core. Good, beautiful. So you can do as many of these as you like. Maybe 2 is enough. Maybe you feel like doing 10. Whatever works for you. Okay. All right, so moving on to our standing exercises, let's begin with a stand and sit just to get ourselves warm. So check that your feet are parallel, maybe a little bit wider than they have been. Lean forward, push your weight into your feet. You could use your hands on your thighs if that helps you. And then press yourself up to standing. You might need to take a look back to make sure the chair is still there behind you. And then just sit back down again. Yeah? So lean forward, sit up, fold at the hips, and sit back down again. Let's just do this a few more times. Be aware of hinging at the hip, the knee, and the ankle. Make it as graceful and smooth as you can. This is an awesome exercise to do every day to keep yourself strong and capable. Okay, now we're standing. For these next couple exercises, I'd like to take our prop and put it between our thighs again. So a yoga block or a ball if you have one. I'm using my trusty cushion. It can be higher up or lower down, wherever that feels comfortable for you. And your feet should be about as wide as your hips. If you sight from your hip bones down to your heels, it should be about the same distance apart. We're going to put our hands on our chair. Make sure our feet are parallel. Connect from the inner foot through the inner leg into the core. And then press down into the ball of the foot and let the heels lift up. Slowly lower back down. Good. And then keep this going. Rising up and lowering down. We're keeping a nice squeeze on that cushion or block. Feeling almost like we're rotating the thighs inwardly a little bit to help to engage the core, the abdominals. Make sure also that your knees are straight, that they're not having a little tendency to flex here. Good. And if you lower slowly, that's going to make your calves stronger. Well done. All right, and then just lifting the toes. So alternately lifting the toes up. Keep that nice connection through the core. Keep your heart lifted, your gaze confident. Just strengthening the front of the shin. Well done. All right. We're going to do this little toe tap around the clock. This is our one new exercise. It's just a really gentle balance exercise. We're also putting a little strength into this external hip. So we're going to take the foot to the front. So this is 12 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back the other way. Last time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back in the other direction. Notice if this hand is gripping your chair like mine was. And put it back. And let's do the other side. So just take your chair around to the other side so that you can support yourself with the other hand. And then take this around the clock. 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Standing up nice and tall on that supporting leg. Reaching the top of your head up towards the ceiling. If you need a little help with your balance, this arm could be extending out to the side. Yeah, or same, we could be using 2 supports if we needed them. Well done. Good job. So after the toe tap around the clock, we're going to turn to face the chair, and we're going to start with our little foot wobble that we did sitting. Yeah, so first just rocking the feet a little bit from side to side, just getting them a little bit warmed up again. And then take the weight into the balls of the feet with the knees straight. Press the balls of the feet down and lift the heels up. Nice. And then slowly lower the heels again. Good. Press up onto the balls of the feet and then slowly lower down. That lowering is when the strength builds. Yeah. If you can get all the way up high on your tippy toes, that's great. But some people that doesn't fly. Maybe you just go a little bit up. Anything that you do is going to stretch and strengthen those calf muscles. Get your ankles strong to help you to avoid falling. Good. Once you've done that enough times, we're just going to alternately lift the front of the foot. We practiced these sitting down before, so you could still do them sitting down if that suits you better. And this is great because this is strengthening the muscles at the fronts of the shins. We don't use those muscles very much. So just do as many as feels right for you. Nice. And then let's do some little squats. So separate your feet just a little bit wider, about as wide as your shoulders. You can turn your toes out a little bit. And then let's experiment just bending the knees a little and making sure the knees are tracking right over the toes. You probably won't see your toes as you bend. Yeah, they should get hidden behind your knees. So if your squat is just a little one, that's totally fine. Yeah, your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes are all going to get stronger. If it works for you to go a little bit lower, go right ahead. Yeah, so what that means is that you're folding at the front of the hips a little and taking yourself a little deeper. You can definitely keep your hands on the chair for support so you don't feel like you're in danger of falling. And remember, this is really helpful for brain health. Getting the lower body working helps to keep the brain functioning, but also important for keeping the lower body strong to keep us less at risk for falling. Nice. Okay, just give your legs a little shake out. Well done. Now we're going to just do this side to side lunge. So you can still have your chair there. If you're the kind of person that needs a little extra support, you could put a chair on either side or put your walker over here. Take your feet wide and then just bend one knee and straighten it. And then the other one. Bend and straighten. So we're just doing a little side lunge, strengthening the legs, and also just helping us to feel stable, working on that proprioception piece. So if you want to try it with both hands off of your supports, you could do that. If you still need that help, use it. Nice. Good. And now let's turn towards our chair again. We're just going to do a little lunge. So one foot forward, the other foot back. The feet are as wide sideways as your hips. Yeah, so you don't have one foot right behind the other. You have a little space between them. This gives you a nice broad base of support and makes you feel more stable. Yeah. And now bend the front knee and straighten it again. Good. That back foot should be parallel with the toes directly in front of the heels. That's going to give you a nice little stretch in the calf muscle. And those calves might be a little tight after those little calf raises that we did earlier. Good. And the last one, let's just stay for a few breaths. So you're pressing your hips forward, pressing that heel into the ground, so you're getting a really nice stretch through the calf. All right, and just straighten up, change legs, step that foot forward, the other one back, and just bend and straighten. Always keep an eye out for knee pain. Never want your knees to be hurt. We've only got one set. And so if anything hurts your knees, do a little less. Maybe not at all. Find a way to keep them from hurting. And the last time, stay there for a few breaths. Pressing your hips forward, rooting into the back heel, lifting up through the belly and through the chest. Watch your breath. Nice. Let's move on to our balance poses. So starting with your feet together, make sure they're nice and parallel. Zip up that line from the inner foot through the inner leg all the way up into your core. Reach the crown of your head up towards the sky. You can have a hand on a chair on either side, or just one, or none, up to you. And let's stay here for 10 seconds. Ready? And go. Full breaths. It helps to focus on something. Nicely done. Now our next one, we're going to take one foot in front of the other. If you're feeling pretty confident, you could take a shorter stance. If you need a little bit broader base of support, make it a little longer. Find what you're holding your hands on and go. But if you lose balance, you could try bending your knees a little. Well done. Let's switch sides. And go. Remember to zip up through the center. Always helps. Keep breathing calmly. Well done. All right, now standing on one leg. So take your weight onto one leg, extend the other one forward. You can add a little point and flex here if you're feeling really confident because of all this work we've been doing. If you want to just keep it simple and hold that leg in front, even just keep it on the floor and then lift it up from time to time, you could do that. Make it yours. Extend your arms or hold on to your supports and go. Remember, if you start to lose balance, you could try just bending this knee to take your center of gravity a little lower. Awesome. Last time, other foot. Notice if this is easier or harder on this side, and go. Well done. Notice for yourself if that was much easier than when we did it a few weeks ago. Maybe you know you still have room for improvement. We always do. So you can do this series of exercises over and over again. You can make it your own. You could just do some of the exercises from earlier on in the program, from week 2 or week 3, if maybe that's where you're at right now. Do whatever you need to do to get strong, capable, and reduce your risk of falling. Well done. Thank you for participating in week 5 of the Sooke Region Communities Health Network's Falls Prevention Program. Join us next week for a review of the material we've covered.